Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Faith Building Podcast with your lovely hosts,
Vladi Kuna and
Norman Gräter, and we're happy to hear you back or to see you back because we have a very interesting topic today. We just spoke about before we pressed record and watched the beautiful 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. We spoke about something I realized lately. Vladi, when I eat, and I think it started a couple of weeks ago, I try to combine two things like eating and watching Netflix. So I'm not, I sit down in the evening and watch Netflix 2, 3 hours. I try to combine stuff. Multitasking, I think most people would call it. And by that, I save time. I watch a movie and I prepare food, I eat food, I wash the dishes, and then I continue with my day. And what I realized the other day, actually just this morning thinking about it, coming from the place of gratitude, where I thought to myself, how can I be more grateful for the things in the now and that I have? I realized I cannot be grateful for the food that I have and the food that I have prepared or the oranges that I squeeze. I cannot be grateful for the thing in this very moment because my mind is already drawn to something else, in my case, to a movie. Which means I distract myself from the present moment with another present moment. And by that, I cannot enjoy nothing. Like I cannot fully enjoy the movie because I have to eat or prepare. And on the other side, I cannot really appreciate the preparation or the eating because I have to watch and follow the movie. Otherwise, I should not do it. And I realized that from time to time, I do the same things. And I remember my beautiful spouse Anke telling me when she's in the car, she likes to be just by herself. She does not listen to the radio. She does not listen to anything. She's just driving. And I always thought, that's so boring. That's the old style. And I could never do that. And I listen to podcasts and audibles and stuff like that. I always use the time. And yet, by now, I found out it keeps me away from experience the present moment. It's just a big distraction. What
I
do you
love
think?
what you said, and it really beautifully blends into finding a joy in a journey. You know, I remember you brought me back to meeting one of the initial days with Bob Proctor when I proudly announced that I am the best multitasker I have ever met in my life, thinking how great it is. And he said, well, this is really not great because your focus and energy deviates in so many different directions that you're not really present and focused on one thing. So that was the initial moment I started really looking at this a little bit differently. And, you know, I love that you said that because so many people do that. And I sometimes do, you know, like put the TV on so while I'm cleaning or doing something so we can combine more things. And we do, and this is why this podcast really, guys, is to help you find the faith in the daily tasks, because we do deviate our energies. We try and squeeze so many things and rush through things and jump from one thing to another, and we lose ourselves and present. We're not really being present with ourselves. Really, it starts with being present with ourselves. As you were talking, remembering the very initial gratitude, because you just mentioned the gratitude and how really important it is. And it brings me to a time when I was learning how to do an unconditional generative gratitude, because apparently there are, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there are different levels of gratitude, and every level has a different frequency, and it's a higher energy and a lower energy. So if it's just a gratitude for something, so let's say somebody gives you a present and you feel grateful for it because you just received it, so you feel kind of like, oh, thank you for something that happened. Or sometimes gratitude is conditioned, you know, like somebody causes us to feel us better, so it conditions that gratitude in that moment, which is great. But the unconditional generative gratitude, which actually Mary Morrissey talks about, it really goes down to this deep feeling of, and I love what you said, food. So how I started is, well, somebody said to me, think about drinking a coffee. I love coffee. And go back to the smell. So if you enjoy the smell of the coffee and you think like, what are the plantations around the world, like Colombia, or, you know, like best places, maybe a type of coffee you drink. But then it takes these people to plant the coffees and look after it and then produce it and then to package it. And then there are guys who have to deliver it to us. And then people who process it in a way that we actually purchase it from wherever we purchase it. So, you know, until actually from the growth until you smelling and enjoying that cup of coffee. That's the generative gratitude, the gratitude for life, for feeling grateful that we actually woke up this day, because there are so many people who didn't. And that really is what Norman's talking about. Like, we rush through things, and we all do it. I mean, if you're one of the people who says, no, I don't, then please reach out to us, because I think to a certain point we all do it. But isn't that amazing how that changes everything, being present in that moment and finding a joy in the moment?
Yes, it totally does. And I totally agree with the 3 stages that you just mentioned. And it brings us to what we spoke about in episode 2, find joy in the journey and not just in the destination. And this can link to our topic today, what we just kicked off perfectly. Because if I choose a destination, if I have a goal, if I have an intention, this is where I want to end up at one point, which means I choose the destination, and which means I should or could or maybe would allow myself to have fun on the way, because the destination is only there because I chose it. So I am guilty, as probably everyone else. Sometimes we choose a destination and we totally forget about the journey. Like, the journey is just a very unpleasant thing in the way, and it goes well together with eating or watching the movie. So often the goal of eating is to have a full stomach, or watching a movie or Netflix series is to finish watching the series. But who goes into a series and says, my big goal is to finish it? We would never do that, unless we would say, let's watch the last season, the last episode, the last 5 minutes, and that's it. And then we know everything else more or less, or we can forget about all the rest. No, we want to enjoy the whole movie. We want to enjoy the whole process. Still, very often in our regular life, I realize, at least in my own life, that the process, the way towards my destination that I chose, bothers me. It's, let's say we 2 want to meet at Harrods in London. So sometimes then in the past, I would have been bothered to look for the flights, to look for the hotels, to look for the transportation, to juggle prices, to juggle time zones and whatever is all involved. And I always had to hold myself back and say, wait. If this bothers you, this research, flights and hotels and stuff, why are you going? Because this part is already kind of part of the whole journey. And the journey I chose, and the journey should be fun, which means if I choose a destination, everything towards it should give me more joy rather than giving me more pain. And this brings us to a very common thing that we tend to forget. The energy I am right now, that I send out right now. It's like you just shared the energies, the 3 different ones. This will attract more to me, which means if I only find joy in the destination after preparing for 4 weeks, and then those 30 minutes of goal achievement, this brings the joy, which means 4 weeks I'm in a bad mood, in a bad state, to be in a good state for 30 minutes, which makes totally no sense. So how can we learn to have more fun, more joy on the journey?
You know, it's really interesting, because as you're talking, I remember it's actually you in our study group, which we've been studying together for nearly 4 years. But I remember at some of these lessons, you were describing the concert. And this is the present moment. Like, we choose to go to the concert. Why are we going there? And then we spend holding a camera all the time, looking through a lens, and we're not present in that concert because we have to take pictures and we have to record it. And then I've lately been noticing that I've been recording sometimes if I want to take a small recording as a memory, because I do love pictures, I really do. I do try not to look. So I'm still like aiming the camera in a way that it records, but I'm directly looking at the concert, not through the lens, because that almost breaks the energy of being a present. But still, it's not the greatest way. I'm guilty of this, because the best way would be just leave the phone home, come to the concert, have the best time ever, be present to the music, feel the music in a way that you do, have fun in it, and then really you enjoyed it in much bigger level than taking 30 different videos, posting them. And we all do that, especially, in our sort of like industry where we do post so you guys can see and, share some stuff. But really, it really speaks well to not being present in that music. Like I remember when I was a teenager, I didn't have if I had the phone, I did not take it to the concerts and the sort of live bands, and you enjoy that. But the minute we start being more, not even aware, we just want to take and post, and we lose the connection to the real present moment and really jump there, enjoy and feel the vibration of the music, which is the energy why we actually came there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I remember a video from Coldplay where the singer, Chris Martin is his name, asked the audience to just keep the phone away for a song. I think they played a second time, if I remember the video correctly. They played one song twice, and for the second time, he asked the audience to put the phones away, just to get what you just described into the feeling. And of course, at least one person, otherwise I could not have watched the little clip, probably had a hearing issue or did think if he says yes, I say no, whatever. But at least there was this video, and it was an amazing atmosphere. And this, when you just told the story, brought me back to the Royal Albert Hall a couple of months ago when we had the joy to watch Robbie Williams for the recording of Better Man for his movie that's out now. And there the same thing was asked by the director. He said, it's not because we are filming back in time, and the issue is not cell phones, they were invented yet. But still, there was no iPhone, I don't know, 13, 12, 14, whatever back then was very popular. So he said, can you please keep your phones in the pocket? And I would say 98% of the people really followed the rule. And what you just shared, that sometimes we film or we take pictures in a concert, which means we're living in the past. We're looking at a little screen and we press record or snap or whatever we do. And by looking at the screen, we're looking at the past because it's a split second behind. And I'm, again, guilty as charged. I did that very often and still today. And what I realized with Robbie Williams, that after, I don't know, maybe 1 hour of filming and concert and back and forth and no phone, it was very uncommon. It was like getting away from an addiction. And then he did something that saved so many lives, I want to say. He said, I will play now one song and you can take as much photos and take as many videos as you want. And this felt kind of a relief, which is very weird, but it seems to be our modern day. And again, we want to bring it down and say, how can I build more faith in my life and my everyday doing? We can only have faith if we are very present in what's happening in the now, not what's happening in the past or what did happen, because we cannot change it for no money in the world. And what happens in the future, we can kind of not really predict it. We can align it with the things, how we think and feel and act today, which has an effect on the future. But still, there are so many circumstances from the outside that we have only power. We have only power over the now, and we use it so seldomly.
And it's so important you mentioned this because it's like families, isn't it? People say, oh, but I'm really busy. And this became like a national sentence, I'd say. Everybody's like, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. But when you think about that, even when you spend an hour with the kids, but you're fully present, and then you spend hour in your job and you're fully present, then you're with your friends and you're fully present, instead of, again, looking at the phones. Like, faith building becomes because of the experience, and it's really about believe in yourself, believe in it. And if we continuously, sometimes it's almost like, I like what you said, it is an addiction, because we want to be seen and heard and respected and, accepted, which everybody does. But then if it's not done the right way, like faith, the word faith, and we chose it for this podcast, is really in a sense of belief as well. Because to have a faith in yourself and to have a faith in others, it means that you are being present. It really comes down that you are fully focused on giving your full yourself to whatever you're doing. Like, I would encourage you to maybe test something today. Like when you're washing the dishes, wash them as it was the best job in the world, you know, like find that joy is like shine it through, because we do so many things during the day when we just rush through, and Norman started talking about it at the beginning. We just want to tick the boxes quickly, like, okay, I want to have this done and this done. And in fact, if I can do 3 things at the same time, we are almost like patting our back, going, yay. And you know, I'm equally gonna put my hand up, because I take my dog out, I do my exercise, and I'm listening to one of the lessons of studying, and I feel like 3 in 1, yay. But equally, sometimes my headphones, the battery dies, and I don't like walking in the forest with the phone so others disturbed, so I have to put it away. And I find that it's a completely different experience. You know, like I can hear the leaves, I can hear what's happening, and I can smell almost the wind. Like you bring yourself to a present moment, and the faith building is better because you actually have a great thoughts. You're connecting to your inner power, and that really is connected to faith.
It is, and I'm currently writing a new keynote speech for the next cruise we will be on, because I realized something when you just mentioned walking through the forest with your phone or the headphone or the dog, that of course by now on cruise ships, mostly everything is handled through an app. You can check the program and what times the restaurants are open and when they close. It's all in the app. Still, it leads to the point where people sit at the same table, but they rarely speak. They both look in their phone, they have a good excuse, they need to check the program or what time we arrive at the next port tomorrow. There's always an excuse why they need to look into their phone, and still it disconnects the people from each other. And this is what I want to speak about. It's like, how can you get most out of your trip for your 2 or 3 week vacation? What's your intention when you come here? What do you want to have, not really achieved, but what do you want to have when you deboard kind of after those 2 or 3 weeks? Do you want to be more relaxed? Do you want to be more joyful? Do you want to have a better relationship? Will you have seen many foreign places, met new people? I don't know. But as long as you don't know what you want to have, you will never achieve it, because all your actions should be aligned with the goal, which brings us again back to our topic. If I set a destination, my way is kind of carved, not really hit into stone. I can still change it. Yet if I say I want to go to the grocery store later, I actually know what I have to do now that this goal gets fulfilled. And the same on a cruise, the same on vacation, the same with cooking, the same with walking the dog. It's always the question, why do I do what I do? Is it just like you shared, to check a box? Or is it because I want to learn something? I want to enjoy myself. I want to really taste the food. I want to smell the coffee, what you said earlier. What is it? Why are you doing the things you're doing?
Yeah. I love this, because really it comes back to clarity is everything. And having a clarity means that you know where you're going and where you're heading. And that obviously that's true. You know that where you know where you are, where you know where you want to go. That's the whole thing you need to know. You don't need to know how you get there. But going back to the faith and the present moment, it really is important. And I think I love everything we've mentioned today, because we do this all the time and we don't pause until something happens. And usually it is not unpleasant, where people stop and say, oh, could I have done something differently? But because it creates a habit. And think about this, guys, because you habitually become so rushed that everything is a rush, quickly get through. But really, are you enjoying your life? Are you really enjoying the way your day goes? If not, you can change it just by making a decision and slowing down for just one day, maybe tomorrow. Just practice tomorrow to do things differently. Especially now, we were talking with Norm before we started, Christmas. I mean, I don't know how about you, but I definitely felt a more calm, because people know it's Christmas. People respect and don't bother, in a way, from a work and stuff. So there has been less interaction with emails and stuff. Does it not feel great? But I was talking to a friend and this morning, and she was like, oh, we're back tomorrow. She was telling me yesterday, actually. She said, oh, back tomorrow. Oh, the emails start coming through. So already she wasn't in a present moment while she could have enjoyed still the whole day of calmness. Already she was thinking about how rushed today will be. And that's another point, is like, keep your mind in a present moment and enjoy what you have right now, this day. How could you make this day the best day? How could you make today calmer? And it actually, you will be more productive by being serene and being calm and relaxed. You actually produce much better quality stuff.
Yeah, it's true. And your brain wants to support you. For if someone should ask, so why am I drawn to my emails or to the next day or to next week or to my destination? Your brain kind of learns all the things that we have to do more often than once, like how to use the phone, how to drink out of a glass, how to go to the bathroom, random stuff that we do over and over again. So our brain says, I create an autopilot for that. It seems that how to lift up a glass and put it to your mouth and drink a sip, I need that more often. So we have an autopilot for drinking, for talking on the phone, for having a conversation, for walking the dog, for lifting a basket. And the moment we started, and probably that's a post-COVID-19 thing, the moment we started to work in the kitchen, to work in the bedroom, to work in the living room, especially for people that have not a full house with 20 different rooms, but they have a 2.5 bedroom apartment, you need to sit on your couch and work. You have no more space. But your brain saved that as a working space. So whenever your butt hits the couch, you get a signal in your mind that says, oh, get your laptop, oh, get your phone. So your brain thinks it does something good for you, but the opposite is the case. We get more and more multitasking. We get more and more filled up with random stuff that's not necessary. So we really need to declutter, which is your main topic and probably good for the next episode, episode 4. We really need to declutter and say the couch is just for whatever you do on a couch. Let's say watching a movie. The kitchen table is just for food. The bed is just for sleep. So really make your zones again for only one or maybe two things, but don't mix and mingle too many things because your brain gets used to it. You create an autopilot. It's called anchor in psychology, and to get rid of the anchor again is quite challenging. It's like getting away from alcohol or chocolate or coffee, whatever you might be addicted to, and it takes time. It's just a habit. You can get away from it just by creating a new habit. You have to learn again that the couch is just for watching TV and the kitchen is just for eating lunch or dinner or breakfast or whatever you have. So Vladi, guide us in the last thoughts of episode number 3.
I'd say really enjoy what you're doing. Like, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves saying it's a small thing or a big thing. It really isn't. It's whatever it is we're doing, whether you're making a coffee or you're washing up, like I mentioned, washing the dishes, or actually spending time with your partner or with your kids or with work, or even this, recording. We're actually present with each other and with you. We could be reading notes here and really not even being half present in here. And it's possible because, we can do all the stuff through halfway, but be fully present. Put your full yourself through anything you do. And regardless whether you think it's a small or a big thing, even small things, like I say to kids, even brushing a teeth, do them the best you possibly can. Like, whatever you do, do it the best, and you can always get better, but really fool yourself in a present moment.
I totally agree. And as a last note from my side, if you would know that you only have one evening left, you would brush your teeth differently, you would treat the kids differently, you would eat differently, you would taste, smell, feel everything totally different. And now you might say, I have another 50 years or 70 years or 30 years to live. I wish you all the best, and I wish us all the best. And like Vladi touched earlier, sometimes it happens that within a split second, your whole world changes, and we tend to stop only if bad things are happening. So why not stop now and pretend that I enjoy the dinner, the brushing the teeth, the writing an email as it would be the last time. I can leave this part out not to get in a bad mood. still just to enjoy them, just to enjoy the moment and really be in this very moment. And what really helps is to declutter your home, your life, and we will kickstart episode number 4 with exactly this topic. How can you declutter more stuff out of your life to have more freedom? Vlad is already celebrating, it's her topic. And we
I
look
love
forward
decluttering.
to tell you much more about declutteration or decluttering. And thank you so much for listening, guys. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay true to yourself, enjoy the moment, enjoy the way, and not just the destination. And we will hear and talk to you soon. Bye bye.
See you soon.